Ona ona ikahala me kalehua ahalalehua no ia no kanoe kau no ia no ine hoi o ka hiki mai hiki mai no oi hipu no me ke aloha aloha aloha
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Love. Today is April 22nd, 2023. We are live with our Earth Day mobilization call to action. I'm going to ask our leaders from Hawaii, Paulo and Tiare Matao, to begin to open our sacred space with their vibrant vision in the spirit of ALOHA.
So we're going to open up with the Queen's Prayer. We do this in a chanting style, Oli Oli, and we have it in the chat. We attached a copy, and also Lee has the words. So it's basically to connect with Source and to step into our true power as creators, as one with the infinite. Mai na na ino ino na eva o kanaka haga e hui gala ma e no laila e ga haku Malalo Komako Maluhia Amauloaku Hamamauano. Okay. We would also like to do Pule Ho'olu, which is a growth prayer. But before we do that, we would part of the power of this prayer is to plant a vision of what we want to create. So in our minds, if we can all come up with a vision of our earth being healed, being complete, our people being healed as well, especially our people first, so that they can do their work to heal our Mother Earth and to be able to unify in our love, in our strength, and take the best of all what we have, all the knowledge of our ancestors and all the cultures around the world, to take the best of it and unify it and work in harmony to first of all help heal each other, help release the trauma, and be able to build our villages where we have great support systems, where our people feel supported, they feel secure, that they have a food security, that they have good homes and houses, they have a clean environment, they have every kind of the best types of healing modalities available to them from all of our cultures around the world that have to offer, to be able to keep our vessels clean, and also in these villages to be able to raise our children in the most highest form of education, where they have the real hands-on, real life education with people that truly love them, with family and extended family, where the villages help to raise the child, and where we have everything from our birthing centers to our elder kupunas to have places to be all the way till their transition to the next lifetime. And so we can all have these visions, and together as we plant this seed, we're going to give birth to it. And once we plant it in the spiritual realms, so it will be in the physical realm. It may take a little time. We're planting the seed in the womb, and as it grows, we will get to see the fruit of these visions.
Mm.
Gai bule ana ulu. Ai kupu ila ni ai kupu ila lo. Ai ila ni ai ila lo. Ayulu ilani ayulu ilalo. Ay mole ilani ay mole ilalo. Ay como ilani ay como ilalo. Ay ligo ilani ay ligo ilalo. Ay la ilani ay la ilalo. I love ilani I love ilalo. Ay boy ilani ay boy ilalo. Ay mohala ilani ay mohala ilalo. Ay hu ay alani ay hu ay ilalo. Ay hua o alani ay hua o ilalo. Ay ho ilani ay ho ilalo. Ay hana ilani ay hana ilalo. Amau gabule holo. Amama uano.
The gates are open and the prayer is free. Welcome everyone to Conversations with Love. I'm going to ask you now if you could please get a glass of water or some kind of water and just hold it next to your heart. Water, we thank you. Water, we cherish you. Water, we respect and honor you. Water, we love you. Water, we are so grateful for all you bring us to play, to live, to enjoy, to cleanse, to create. As a member of the human race, please forgive us for harming you, polluting you, misdirecting you, or stagnating your flow. Water, we are sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We love you. Water, we are sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We love you. Water, we are sorry, and we are here today to make amends and forward in unity, in truth, in harmony, in peace, in equanimity. Thank you. Please forgive us. And we love you by the power of our divine essence and the holy sacred essence of all water, everywhere. We raise the vibration of the water in our cup, the water in our bodies, and the waters everywhere to the highest possible vibration now, aligned with true prime source creator. And so it is.
Granddaughter, the water can hear you. The water has memory.
Nibi,
Wabo,
Endayan,
Nibi Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misli, Nibi Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
Water is the life's blood of our mother, the earth. Water is the lifeblood of our own body.
Nibi Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misli, Nibi Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
To continue to pass on the knowledge that needs to be given unto the other generations. You are the keeper of the water.
Nibi Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misli, Nibi Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
To make the change in this life condition that we're in, that great-grandchildren will stand up to to this truth of what life is about, and to live it in such an honorable way, the way ancestors came to this earth.
Nibiwabo endayen akimiskwi Nibiwabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chimigwech, thank you for singing the water song.
Nibiwabo endayen akimiskwi Nibiwabo heya 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 hey heya 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 ho.
Welcome everyone to Conversations with Love. I am so grateful to all of you for coming here today. And I just had to turn off the video that kept playing. We have so many special guests here today. Thank you, Paulo and Tiare Burns and Matao for opening this beautiful call to action on Earth Day. And I'm going to ask our other guests to come on. We have Skyelar, Menard. We have Ritika, Arya. And we have Jason Estes from earthchange.org. I'll just pull up your website very quickly so you can speak to it. Earth Change's purpose is to be the change it wishes to see in the world by stepping up to assist in times of great need. Earth Change leads by example. As a 501c3 public charity, 100% of every single dollar raised for a cause goes fully to that cause. And I became aware of this organization through the Crystallized Roots movement and the Clean Water Initiative that Ritika Arya had planted with crystallized source seeds in India, and I believe, Skyelar, you've also planted in Canada, and Jason all around the United States, and we are going to continue this process in Hawaii and elsewhere as it becomes more known. If you could unmute yourselves and just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and what you are going to be doing. One more thing, Jason, I just have to give you kudos because you taught me how to meditate, which means understand the silence and just be with the no thing. Creation, and I'm so grateful to you for that. Thank you. So please share.
Yeah, with Earth Change, the entire premise and purpose of it was to show an example of what's possible, right? With all of the companies and everything that I've built around it, it has the support that it needs from an administrative perspective, so that everybody has the ability to put exactly what they want to exactly what they want and see those rewards. So those funds don't actually pay for the administration at all. And what we've seen a lot of in this world is these charities that are coming out, they're doing some good work, but they're really doing it to make profit. And what we wanted to do was be an example of what was possible with other charities out there. And the thing that's so important about Earth Change is we don't expect to be the only one. Like, our whole purpose and premise is to be a platform that other nonprofits can plug into and support, so that everybody is able to work together, right? Because we don't get home by one person doing something. We get home by all of us working together to arrive. And that was the whole premise behind why I wanted to launch Earth Change and the way that I built it. And I'm proud to announce that we're actually going to be starting the Clean Water Initiative pretty soon. So that's our next initiative. We're working with the CRM. They'll give you more updates around how many trees have been planted, things like that. But we are going to be planting a lot more trees. It doesn't mean that we're ending that initiative. It means we're continuing that initiative, but we're also going to be doing another initiative at the same time, which is the one that I'm the most passionate about, and that's the Clean Water Initiative. Since I was a little kid, water has always been that thing for me. So it's such a big deal and such an honor. And I just got back from working with the person who broke the Guinness Book of World Records for open water swims, right? So she just did that, and we're going to be partnering together to work on a lot of Clean Water Initiative projects, hopefully even sponsoring some bays and some oceans to kind of help bring that to the next level, you know? And then bringing our technology in on that whole concept. So it's a lot of really exciting times right now. Everybody's coming together. We're starting to realize that we can't do this alone, and that's one of the reasons why Earth Change was formed in 2011 that I formed it. So it took a while for it to become official and all the other processes, but we were starting to do work, I think in 2011, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely brilliant. Can you share the name of the person that you are working with, who's because it's really true what you've said, Jason, is this network of people coming together, pulling these threads of common good. I think one of your mottos is be good, do good, enjoy the ride. Did I get it correctly?
Close. Be good, do good, have faith, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. There you go.
The most important thing we'll ever do is be good, right? And that means within our own self, knowing that we are good. That doesn't mean that other people tell us that we're good, right? Because that doesn't matter. It's what we inherently know as ourselves. And then from there, we actually take that and expand that action out, which is to be good, right? So I'm being good, and now I'm doing good through this experience of expansion. And now that I've expanded my goodness in the world, what happens is faith is the next thing, because I can't expand beyond what I'm meant to expand. It doesn't work. We are not here to carry the weight of the world alone. But if we expand ourselves, then what happens is everyone else expands, and we create this amazing network of expansion that can't help but change the world. And that's where faith comes in. And then obviously the easiest one is just enjoying the ride at that point, because you get to see the echoes of everything that you've done just exploding in brilliant lights and colors. Amazing fireworks of happiness and joy, right? And so at that point, just enjoying the ride. And
basically you just described what loving yourself really means.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole premise of everything I've ever taught, was that one concept. It's like, just do this and everything else takes care of itself. Because if you are in your optimum expanded state, everything literally takes care of itself. That's where the faith and the enjoying the ride comes in. The hardest part is we don't often know what it looks like to be our authentic selves anymore, because we've lost that. This is one of the reasons why CRM is so important to me, is because the crystallized roots movement is allowing us to plant these trees and have this space of communion with these trees. Biophotonic trees are a powerful thing. What they do is they create an opportunity for us to remember our own living light. And together, when we're working with nature in that way, everything changes. Everything. We just need more light on the planet. And when we expand, we create more light. When trees expand, they create more light. When the ocean is clean, it creates more light. Light is everything. Literally everything. If you talk to the head of microbiology, they'll tell you that all microbes do is translate light, which is what creates the changes. So What do we need more of? Light. How do we create that? By expansion. When we contract, we're losing that light. So that was the whole premise and purpose of Earth Change, was to create more light in the world through initiatives that were needed at the time. So the CRM initiative was needed because we have extreme weather events all over the world constantly. I was just in Miami where there was 1,000-year flood. 1,000-year flood. That's an extreme weather event. It was so bad that there was no fuel. Like, people were running out. There were no Ubers. Like, everything changed because of this flood. Airplanes couldn't even land. It was like a whole logistics nightmare. But the thing that was so beautiful about it was that there were so many people coming together to support and to change things. And my friend even swam 32 miles, open ocean swim, 32 miles in 14 hours, never stopping. And while she was doing it, she picked up 35 pounds of trash because she didn't care about the Guinness Book of World Records. She cared about the bay. She cared about the work that was being done and the importance of picking up trash. I was on a boat next to her, and she would literally scream out, "Bottle on the left." And we would, like, the boat would literally turn to go pick up this bottle. And it was really cool because it was an electric boat. So it wasn't creating any pollution. It was just picking up trash. This is the future of what we're doing, is we're working together with the technologies, but also with nature itself. It was so cool because there was these two dolphins that swam that actually protected her against something. So I got to watch a mermaid be protected by two dolphins. Like, it was literally a dream come true. You see a mermaid, and then you see two dolphins save that mermaid in all in one, like, moment. You're just like, how is that a thing in this world? And it was, because the whole time she swam just using her dolphin tail or her mermaid tail and her torso. She wasn't allowed to use her hands or anything for the Guinness Book of World Records. Imagine that. Imagine having that much passion that you're willing to stay in that water to show and to prove and things. And she did. She got massive publicity around the bay, and now there's going to be a lot of cleanup efforts. I'm going to be partnering with her to help that. Like, it's huge what we're doing. But it takes people that are actually action oriented, not virtue signaling oriented. There are so many people that talk all the time, but very few people are actually doing something about it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really grateful to see more and more people doing something about it now, because it's time. It really is. And together we can create that change.
Yes, we can. We just keep asking, how can we? How can we? What's my next guiding question?
Yep.
And how can I deliver on the promise that I am here to deliver? And each of us together is delivering on the promise we made to ourselves to be the light of the light, in the light, for the beauty of this creation that is love.
Exactly. That's what being good is to me. To deliver on the promise that I have made. That is what it means. So if I commit to something, I will follow through with it. It might take me longer than I could have ever dreamed, but I'll do it because I don't give up. Because to me, when I agree to something, I follow through. To me, that is one of the aspects of being good. So if I agree to help the world move through this transitional phase that we're in and help to stabilize and normalize the environment so that we can actually live in heaven on earth again, that to me becomes a sacred vow between me and myself and God. And I put all of my power and energy towards it. And that's what I've dedicated and done with Earth Change. I'm systematically working on all the things that are needed to provide a support for the environment first. Because I believe that the world is in three parts: environmental, medical, and societal. And for me, I think that environmental is the most important, because if we can resolve the environmental problems, most of the medical and societal problems will go away. Then if we can solve that and then the medical, then most of the societal problems will go away, because most societal problems are created from a deficit in these two areas. So that's one of the reasons why I've always wanted to kind of approach that. That's why CRM and Clean Water Initiative before Homeless Huts Initiative, right? Because it's important that we actually have these living houses and these other opportunities to heal. It's one of the reasons why the bed is out in the world right now and it's creating all these massive changes, is because we have to approach things in a certain system. And as hard as it is to watch society do what it does, if we don't fix the environment, there won't be a society to come to.
Okay, so in the word environmental is mental. And what I heard you say is this commitment is to master your mental body, to create this movement that's unstoppable, no matter what all the old history and repetitive mental illness has caused on our planet. Another thing that I know from you is we all have the power to choose. And what I hear you calling us forward is to say, choose to commit to the promise you have made. Just take a look at the beauty around you. It's all made of love. When you were talking about biophotonic trees, I remember the first time I had seen a microscope show the process of food creation by the leaves of trees. And it is so vibrant, so alive, so active, so full of light, and it's creating food and energy. So as we come to master our mental body, these thought forms, what are the tools and strategies you've used to become so committed and so wholly clean and clear on this commitment to move forward? Paulo and Tiare shared with me a vision they have. It requires money. How do we balance this idea of energy exchange, value, the money bartering system that we've got already, to really expand more? Can you share some of the ways you have? Perhaps Paulo and Tiare, you can come on and speak with Jason about this, because he is a nurse steward and he has created this earthchange.org, as he mentioned, over a decade now, and these partnerships keep coming because of this commitment. So Jason, I'm going to pin Paulo and Tiare and let you speak with them about how you've made this commitment real and tangible in the world.
Awesome. I think Ritika and Skyelar also have lots of answers to that. I'm not a solo artist here. I can't. I'm good at certain things. They're great at other things.
I'm pinning them. They could come on and start speaking. Also, do you want to just pass the baton a little bit first?
Sure.
Yeah,
Whoever wants whatever. I mean, I just made myself available for a little bit to hang out with you guys and see what this all led to.
Skyelar Menard in Canada, founder and steward of earthchange.org. Ritika Arya, did I pronounce your name correctly, Ritika?
Yeah, it's Ritika Arya.
Ritika
but I really
Arya.
appreciate the effort you're making, Lee, so thank you.
Okay, so
You can call
why
her Tika for short. She loves that. That's her
Jay,
favorite.
Tika. That's a beautiful name. So, Ritika, why don't you tell us what you've been doing in on the Asian continent in India? I know you've also made great strides for children in schools as well.
Yeah, I have had the opportunity to work with children for almost 14 years now, and a lot of my bridging to everything Earth and world comes from the work that I've been able to get to do with the children. And that is literally how we also planted the first trees in India. And it was with the children, when I saw how open they were, it was still, we were just coming out of the lockdown. And so there weren't too many children. We weren't allowed to have a lot of people for the event. But even just the few that gathered, it's almost as if they didn't need to know technicals about what the source seed is or what crystallized roots movement is. And I just said, these are magic balls. Like, these are magic seeds. And they were like, yeah, thank you, Jay. And they completely bought that without any question. And it's almost as if even when, you know, we finished planting up a bunch of trees somewhere and we were going to the other venue, and, you know, of course we had taken permissions from their parents to let them go back home. Some of the children didn't want to go back home. They were like, you got to tell me where is the next venue, and I don't want to, you know, miss that. I want to come with you to the next venue and the next venue. So that was the experience that was just so open and pure, and children planting those seeds. My personal experience, which hadn't happened before that event, with respect to the, you know, maybe I had flashes of that at another time when I was just studying trees in a research fellowship. But then when we were planting these trees with the source seeds, it's almost as if in that moment, in that space, as we're already, you know, probably planted 50, 60 trees, and we were going to plant the next batch, that I was suddenly able to see visions of, you know, the connection, both up in the sky, but also down in the earth. And I mean, I tried not to apply my mind to make too much sense of it, but at the same time, I was just feeling super grateful of just, you know, like, I didn't need to go to Jason and ask, like, hey, Jay, how does this work? And can you tell me what is going to happen? We were just so in that space, doing whatever we knew was best with the children, building this space, and things started to just show up and reveal and support us for the next step and the next. And I was just so grateful to learn with the trees and from the trees and through doing. Then I don't think that I had ever come across what I experienced or saw in my vision in any textbook or lecture before that. So that was a little bit of our first few experiences of planting trees with children. And it's, I mean, just planting trees is beautiful, but planting them with children that have no doubt about what you're doing is a completely different experience. So yeah, I really recommend that. And that's why, you know, we'll speak more to this, and perhaps Sky and Jay can also tag. We're really open to having organizations that work with children or parents. This might be such a great thing to do worldwide with schools, for instance. We've taken our own time to figure logistics, because when you don't have reports of something, when you have no white papers and nothing to prove nothing, it really does take faith to still hold that little thing that Jason showed on the screen. You really have to rely on yourself and your heart and feel what you feel, and then do what you feel is true to you. And so the first phase of, you know, CRM met with a lot of faith, but also with a lot of question and doubt. And we had to, through that doubt, through whatever was happening, we had to just keep going until we did have it backed by, you know, white papers and scientists and things like that. That came along. So I'll leave it there to say that there is far more hope, but also scientific backing now. And I'm personally looking forward to the next chapter. It's been a moment that we've got our crew to plant some trees. So we did 2 events, and I'm looking forward to see how the next ones will evolve, because we did take the time to gather the lessons in between of what went well, what was challenging, not just for us here in India, but in the different communities around the world. It is a task to get governments and people to give you a piece of land to plant on. Not everyone has that. Not everyone has children who are just going to come starry-eyed for your event. You'll probably invite 10 people and they're going to be like, huh? Source seeds? What do you mean? So they're not actually seeds. They don't actually sprout, but you're calling them seeds. And why should I put a piece of like ceramic and magnetic thing in the earth? Yeah, just so many questions. So it's an opportunity to be able to still receive them in love and hold your faith and show up And that's what we're choosing to do in the next stage and phase of this movement. And I'll rest with that and tag whoever wants to go next.
Well, I'll just jump in, because what you've said is basically the shared inquiry model that we've created in our schools with the Peace Academy of the Science and Arts, with the Melrose experiment, and with what we're hoping to create in future. Because if you think about it, all right, nature is our best teacher. And we know infinitesimally. I mean, Jacques Cousteau said, we don't know anything about the ocean. Yet we just could go willy-nilly using it without really understanding and comprehending the life force energy that it is, and how it is all part of the whole Earth energy, the planetary energy system. And when you'd said, you know, why are we doing this magnetic thing? Right away, I'm like, oh, magnets. Oh, crystals. Oh, soil. Wait a minute. Where does soil come from? Well, it's igneous rock. It first starts as lava, molten lava. All Earth comes from the molten lava. Well, how is that possible? And you just keep going, and you just keep asking questions. And as you ask the questions and you investigate, you learn more about how you are relating yourself with everything around you. And children, well, I'm a former kindergarten teacher, so forgive me if I sound a little bit excited, but that's like, to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. At the New Earth immersion, I got to plant with children for the first time, and an entire school came out, and me, Regan, and Wampa planted trees with them for like the day, and it was just ridiculously incredible to see them just running around. They actually schooled us. I was thinking it was like 10 trees, like a child planted to every one that an adult was able to plant. It was so fast. They were just like so stoked, excited. It was beautiful. But on her topic that she mentioned, you know, about the research, we actually just got our research data in. So I kind of want to read this, because this is like groundbreaking, life-changing stuff right here. With the source seeds against the control study, they had a 205% increase in manganese, which is your universal light translating thing, right? So imagine manganese being increased by 205% in a single month. That's the reason why things grow faster. That's the reason why nature is able to do what it does. Manganese is directly proportionate to how things go. But the thing that was so cool was the scientists came back and they were like, we don't know how this is even possible, because nothing was different from the control. Like, there's no way that this could. I was like, well, 0-point energy field. When you're pulling from the quantum field, anything's possible. The tree needed the ability to translate light, so it pulled in the resources so that it could do so. You see, this is the coolest part about life, is that we're starting to get this research in that's proving what we knew all along. The first phase of Earth change was have faith. Then we found that people were like, well, where's the science? We were like, okay, fine. We'll do a little bit of science. And now the science has proven the same thing that we already had with faith, but more people are adopting it. Now more and more people are adopting it. And then eventually everyone will just understand it, because not only will we have faith and we'll have had the first person willing to keep going, right? I spent a whole lot of my own money to make sure that this thing kept going forward, because I knew, without having to do all the science and all the research, what it was doing. I planted source seed trees on my property and watched them grow 3 times faster than they should have. Science can't even conceive of that. I remember our arborist came out and was like, you guys must have replanted the trees. I was like, no, this is the same tree. It doesn't make sense from a science perspective, from biological, from every perspective you can dream of. It doesn't make any sense. Also, it's still the truth. You see, because science can't catch up to quantum. It already knows that it can't catch up to quantum. It uses 0.02% of reality to try to justify everything that is real. Wow. It's not really good at that. But at the same time, people feel comfortable with science. So there is a middle ground to exploring and playing with everyone. Children just live in faith. They don't need the science. They don't even care, really. But Adults, they do. And since adults are the keepers of the children currently on the planet, you kind of got to meet them in the middle ground somewhat. But the coolest part is it doesn't take much for them to understand. Like what I just said about manganese, most people wouldn't even understand what that means. They'd be like, oh, a 200% increase in manganese. I guess that means something's happening. That's all I need to know. That's the surface level that people are interested in. But if you explore what that is, it's like life-changing. The simple fact, like, let's think about this for just a second. Let's say that I decided to plant a fruit tree that actually gives fruit. And now all of a sudden, the most important thing for humans, which is manganese, comes in the fruit. I mean, what's possible when we have healthy food that is made with pure organic opportunities and solutions because it doesn't need anything else, but on top of that has quantum dynamics built into the actual thing. Well, now we're back in the Garden of Eden. Now we're back living as we were meant to live. When the oceans are so full of biophotons that everything in the pollution breaks down naturally, which we've proven as well, that you can actually change the total dissolvable solids of a liquid by adding a source seed and then checking it an hour later. Well, what happens when you do that in the ocean? You see, now the pollution breaks free and the bad bacteria starts to go into shock and everything changes.
Yeah.
We have the solutions to all of the world's problems.
Yes.
And the thing that always keeps me hopeful and happy is, and this is an actual thing, you can go look this up. If we were to stop war, just completely stop war for 3 years, just 3 years, and diverted the entire world's budget of war to problem solving as well as the manpower, right? Because you got to keep in mind that the military employs a lot of very powerful people that could easily pivot and work on world solutions. It is predicted that within 3 years, there would be no world problems. It would only take 3 years of the war budget and the people to end all of the problems that we currently have on the planet. That's it. So as long as that stays within that 3-year range, I'm pretty chill. I'm like, okay, whatever. No matter what we're doing, we can fix it. And you also have to think about the manpower and the brain power. Some of the smartest people didn't know another way to get through college, so they joined the military. Those people, if they ever came and they started to use their brain power for solutions, forget it. The whole world's problems would be solved in less than 3 years, in my opinion, because there's more than enough support and there's more than enough solutions already available. We just don't have the awareness or the funding. But if we had both, then the world that we came for would be here right away. Which is why I still believe by 2028, 2030, somewhere around there, we will have solved all the world's problems.
New thought process, Jason. New mentality, a focused vision. Okay, so how can we redirect this energy? What's our next step? What are some? We had some questions. Can I just read the? Well, Skyelar, I want you to say something first before I go off on a tangent.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm just loving being here with you guys. It's so cool that we're coming from all around the world, and I've really loved just getting the people set up for this project around the world. Like that's been one of my highlights. So starting the CRM initiative in 2020, where we were like, okay, we're here, here's what we're doing, we're ready to set up team leads, and then the world got like super weird. So it was still so cool, like despite the restrictions, to see people still coming together and planting trees all over the world. So I've just really loved the process of getting people set up and making those connections and just seeing the world light up, and when you ask like, what can we do? Like, it really just starts with each one of us choosing to be that change, and then from there it's like rippling out, and the more examples that are in the world, that's where more people can see and more people can get involved, because they might not even know, like, hey, this like initiative's going, like, we're planting trees over here, cool, like how can I get involved? So yeah, I would just say that's been my highlight over these past few years for sure.
Wonderful. That's really exciting. So have you done with children as well up in Canada?
I haven't, and I can't wait until the opportunity comes in front of me, because every time I hear from Ritika or any of the team leads around the world, I'm just that, like, hearing about the plantings is like one thing, but like planting with kids is just I can't wait till I get to
okay
do that.
All right, so I'm going to introduce you to my friend Mariam Nassaf, who runs the Reggio Emilia School in Canada. And the Reggio Emilia school is like the school model of community. It's so exciting to me. It's like this, it just explains, like, this is how I want to build my life, right? So I'll introduce you to her, so then you guys can plan a project. Because, you know, there's been so many fires, we got to replant the trees where there's been fire. And so, you know, we can do this. We can do this.
Totally. I would love that. Thank you, Lee. I'm really
You
excited.
bet. You bet. And Tika, I'm learning Hindi at the moment, so I plan to make a trip to India one of these days in my life. But we had a couple of questions that we kind of put forward, and I'd love for you guys to share like what your questions are, because questions open doors in my estimation. And so these are the four questions we had. So how might we unite to steward earth resources, to tend wildlife and mend harmful past actions? Well, you've already given us a couple of ways we could do that. What do you see as incongruent in your own community towards sustainable living? And, you know, our environment, our medical system, and our societal actions. Like, what are you seeing that's incongruent, and how can you get involved to make changes? What prompted this day today for me was a fire drill Friday that was talking about the ocean, and they were going to the United Nations. Greenpeace was going to the United Nations to ask that the waters outside of territorial country waters, the free waters that belong to everyone, be left pristine, that they stop doing what they were doing. And every country in the UN said yes, that was present at the time. Another question was, what are your ideas, actions, or goals that you already have or want to implement to create sustainable, equitable living in all our communities, for the land, for the air, for the water, for the cities and or the country? And the last one was, what is the optimal ecosystem for your community? What do you need in your community to help it grow in this direction? Any other questions that you might have, or ideas on these questions, actions on these questions?
I'm gonna start off because I have to go in 7 minutes, so I just want to answer those as best I can. Can you do them one at a time though, because the way that everything works.
So how might we unite to steward Earth resources, to tend wildlife and mend harmful past actions?
I think this one is really about realizing that nature will regrow itself if we stop messing it up. For me personally, that's the way that I look at this, is like, the Earth has been here longer than humans. It continues to rebuild itself, and it always will. But we keep influencing and changing things by adding things. Like glyphosate is now in almost everything that we drink, eat, breathe, all of it, right? That's a very strong poison that is now killing people. It's causing all kinds of allergies and all kinds of problems. Well, how do we do that? Well, we break that down. How do we break that down? Microbes. So you see, as we continue forward, we're coming up with solutions for the problems that we cause, but it's really about realizing the most important thing is this. This device right here is killing biophotons all around us. It's proven. It actually kills the living light. This computer in front of me, well, my devices are clean, but this computer in front of me also kills those. The house's walls around kills those, right? We literally create solutions that kill things. That's the thing that we have to change. If I were to say the one thing that we have to change, is we have to start building living technologies, right? Things that contribute more biophotons, that contribute more living light. Because what is the number one thing that trees do that we know 100% is so important? Called photosynthesis, which actually creates biophotons. Those biophotons are what power and support the entire nature ecosystem. So if our devices, if our technology, if our houses, if everything that we do is killing those things, we're literally at war with nature. This is one of the reasons why, like, the housing initiative that I'm working on right now uses bioceramics that take pollution and turn it into living material that actually has the ability to solve most of the problems. GeoShip is building those. They're an incredible company, and they're building affordable housing that can last 500 plus years. And also it creates a living biofield, which means instead of hindering and harming the world, it's actually amplifying it. That's what we need. We need to build technologies that amplify. Sourcey technologies create an amplification process. One of the coolest things that I've seen so far with the source seeds, which we don't have like 100% proof of this yet, but what we've seen with our eyes, which is valuable to me, is that if you plant a tree, usually it takes a very long time to tap into the mycelium network. When you plant a source seed tree, it taps in within hours. And then you notice that the trees start to share their resources, which is one of the reasons why they're able to amplify and grow so fast. This usually doesn't happen in nature. In fact, the #1 cause of trees disappearing on our planet isn't even man anymore. Yes, we started that process, but it's actually the depression of the trees and the fear of the trees. They're terrified to grow outside, and so they erode. They dump their resources into the mycelium network and allow themselves to die so that they can survive, because they're terrified of what we will do if they don't. So 5% of all trees are eroded every year now. I think that's what it was last year. I'm not sure about this year. I don't know if they've done the study yet, but 5%. That's insane. Think about how many trees exist. We did a little thing in Costa Rica where we took and planted source seed trees in the erosion area, and the trees actually not only didn't dump resources and grow inward anymore, they actually began to sprout new trees here. So we were able to revive the ecosystem by simply giving them hope again, where depression and fear existed. And we did that by creating trees that could tap in and communicate and say, hey guys, we're not clear cutting this area anymore. You're good, you're safe. Feel free to build back. Feel free to share. You see, when we think of trees, we think of them as an inanimate object, but it's actually proven with tons of science now that they actually are conscious beings that have the capability to have emotions. When we start to look at life from that perspective, instead of looking at things as inanimate objects, but actually looking at the living ecosystem that is, then we start to add amplification to that instead of killing it. It solves almost every problem that man has ever created. And it comes with just being a little bit better, being a little bit wiser in the way that you do things. If you are going to use devices, come up with the technology or buy a technology that zeroes out those EMFs, or if you're really cool, get something that transmutes them into living light. That's what my goal is to build technologies that actually translate lower currents into higher currents, so that you amplify the space instead of weaken the space or zero the space out. Because you don't want a zero space either. That's not thriving. It's not good for you. You want a living space. Why I built the paint that I built, so that it could take the electromagnetics and translate them into biophotons, so that you have a space of living light in anywhere in the world. These are the kind of solutions that we have to start thinking of. If we truly want to change the world, we have to start thinking from a perspective of, how do I amplify this space instead of weaken it? And if you don't have the answer, then do nothing. That's it. Super easy. Oh, I don't know how to amplify the forest. That's okay. Somebody else might. But I'm not going to try to amplify the forest and weaken it, because that's what happens. It's our ignorance that creates the problems. It's okay to learn, but don't learn at the cost of others.
And on that note, it's time for us to say adieu. Our show is over for today. Paulo and Tiare, if you could come on and give us our closing prayer. Thank you, everyone. Jason Estes, Skyelar, Menard, Ritika, Arya, for joining us. Everyone who joined us live, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you all, and I am encouraged. Jason, you gave us the question.
Aloha mai kako. Yeah, I think 1 hour is way too short for this conversation. We have so much to share, and I really appreciate all what Jason shared. Is so inspiring, and I agree totally with the faith. That's what we're doing. We're doing it on faith and the action that we know we can take, and prayer every day, and we're moving to make our villages. Heaven on Earth. I love it. By 2030, I'm there with you.
Sooner than that, you said.
Yeah, 2028, 2030. Yeah, that's short. So let's close with Hawaii Aloha. It's in the chat. I'm just going to share my vision and mission that we have, just so you guys have it. Ole noa e na pono lani o e Hawaii aloha e hauoli e na opio Hawaii ne Ole mai ahe makani e pā mai ne mau ke aloha vai e ha'i mai ko mau kini lani e ko mau puka aloha e Hawaii na mea olino ka maha ono luna mai e Hawaii aloha e hauoli e na opio Hawaii ne ole mai na ahe makani e pā mai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii na ke akua e malama mai a'oe ko mau kua lono aloha ko mau ka Hawaii o lino mau ko mau mahala puanani e hauoli e na opio Hawaii ne ole mai na ahe makani e pā mai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii mau ke aloha Hawaii aloha